let's move on then to the guy I've listed here as QB3. It is Drake Maye, another guy with plenty of question marks, maybe sneaky athleticism, we might say. Much younger, of course, than Jaden Daniels. What's your evaluation on Drake Maye, Thor?
I really like the arm. And when the situation is advantageous, like it was in 2022 when he was in Phil Longo's system and the supporting cast was better, they had Josh Downs and Green out there, a couple of guys that got drafted. He put up the bazooka stats. That Phil Longo system, that's the one where it's the spread and they count the numbers pre-snap, and then when they have the one-on-one shots downfield, they'll take it every single time. And he was really good at that. Longo had worked with Matt Corral at Ole Miss before that, Sam Howell before at UNC. And so that, and Drake Maye, that his best thing, it's that howitzer of an arm he has. And that's absolutely real. The hype is real with his arm talent. The other thing I like about him, and something he got to show off a little bit this year, I have a lot of nitpicks with the offensive coordinator that they brought in. I knew that was a mistake right from the get. The guy's kind of a dope. So I will give Drake Maye at least the contextual benefit of the doubt as far as the system he was playing in. But the one thing it did afford him was he got the opportunity to throw over the middle. He's very good at that as well, which is why he's a good fit, for instance, for the Kevin O'Connell offense, or would be for the McVay Shanahan type deal. Him and McCarthy are very good at throwing over the middle. The nitpick I have about Drake Maye is when I watch his tape. Okay, well, first I'll say the thing I like about this is I like the way his pocket management right from the get. Like he'll take it out of the shotgun, and he does this. He has sort of an unorthodox sort of bicycle backpedaling type setup where he sort of backpedals out. He doesn't go square. He backpedals out, and I like it because he can see the whole field for longer. So that's kind of cool. And so that's his setup, and then he moves around well, where it's like, you guys know that meme where it's like the guy where it's like the little figure, and then there's a whole bunch of people, and every time he moves around, the people move away from him. Do you know the meme I'm talking about? Yes. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that reminds me of when Maye is like the beats after the snap, how he sort of manipulates the pocket to keep sort of the mini halo in front of him for the spacing. He has a really good feel for keeping that little runway in front of him so that he has that space to step into the throw. So just manipulating that pocket for that spacing. I like all that stuff. That stuff's really good. The 3-4 beats after the snap is really, really good. My nitpick with him is when that pressure starts getting there, when the enemy starts getting to the gate. I'm not talking about the moment when he's about to get blasted. I'm talking about like the 2-3 beats right before that, and when he's like, "Oh, Drake, it's about to start coming. You need to make a decision." What I notice is right then he's like, "All right, go." And his mechanics, he would put them in fast forward. His decision-making process would get put in fast forward. So he would make a quick decision, wouldn't always be the best one. But even when it was, the mechanics, he'll just eschew them. So it's a really quick thing. The upper body goes really quick. Sometimes he will totally eschew the lower half. Sometimes he'll take the shot, but other times he'll fade away from it. And that's where you see the errancy under duress, which you can also see manifest in the numbers. His under pressure numbers were not good. And I think that this is the reason, because the mechanics get totally skewed in those scenarios. And like I said, the decision-making, there's a similar effect going on there.
Dave, do you see potential greatness in Drake Maye?
I think he's got a pretty high ceiling. So sure. I think he's got a strong arm. Thor mentioned the over the middle throws. I think he's the best anticipatory thrower in the class. He didn't shy away from tight window throws either. I think his mobility is underrated, but Thor made it sound like it was a nitpick to talk about that. The rush mechanics, the rush footwork. I think it's larger than that. I thought his arm throwing motion was a little extended. I thought his footwork wasn't great consistently. I thought he struggled to even recognize where pass rush pressure was coming from. So I think he needs a little bit more coaching. And so if he goes to a team where he's either learning on the fly or he waits a few weeks before he gets on the field and he makes some progress in those areas, I think he can be pretty good. But I think a team's got to realize that he's not a finished product and could regress like we saw Josh Allen do the first couple of years of his career before he finally got it all down and became a better thrower.
I think anyone who drafts him would be pretty happy if he could just follow that exact Josh Allen path. We'll just punt the next 2 years and then go be awesome. But no. So I mentioned Thor, that the sneaky athleticism, kind of tongue in cheek, but this is a guy who could give you 25, 30 rushing yards per game, right?
He's a guy for me where you can have a couple of the RPO where you can keep it a couple of times in the short yardage and then around the goal line. The thing I'll say about him is that kid is tough when he keeps the ball. Sometimes maybe too much. He's one of those guys that will lower the shoulder and like he's, with Jaden Daniels, we were sort of joking around about it. At least Drake May's got the bigger frame. But yeah, he has some of those Bug Bunny moments on film as well. Some fun sort of moments like that. But that kid he's like, when I was saying the thing about the fading away, sometimes when he's getting hit in the pocket, I did not mean to insinuate he is not tough, because you can clearly see he is tough when he is the runner, and especially around the goal line in the NFL. Speaking to the fantasy thing, I think his team absolutely will use him around the goal line as a runner. You can absolutely certainly on the sneaks, but also within the 5, you can absolutely use him on those concepts. And I think he'll pile up some touchdowns doing that.
Dave, you mentioned that he really would benefit from some more coaching. And I think like when you're talking about these quarterbacks, for me at least, I look at New England as the oh no situation. And it's even more so for Maye, for me at least, than it would be for Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Because Jaden Daniels' skill set and his, as Thor said, his superpowers could really just succeed in a lot more. It feels to me like Maye might be a little bit more situation dependent. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. And I think you could say that about almost all the quarterbacks in this class. I don't think that there's like Daniels would be okay if he went to New England. Would he be amazing for fantasy? Not as good as if he went to Minnesota or Las Vegas or pretty much anywhere else. And I think we can say the same thing for Maye there too. But I do think I've looked at Alex Van Pelt's track record, the quarterbacks that he's worked with, the type of quarterback that he was. I think they're drooling over Maye. He seems like the guy that would best fit what they want to do offensively.
Well, that might be good for them. Maybe it'll even be good for him.